Today I have a special guest for you. I will be joined by Aqura. She is a money coach for entrepreneurs. So if you are a business owner, you are a coach, you are a service provider, and you want to have the money mindset to make your next 100K, you should definitely join us. I'm gonna wait until she's here to invite her on the stage. Super excited. Aqura is helping women to spend less money so they can pay off their debt as soon as possible. Hi, what's good? How are you? I am going to, there you are. Let me see. There's working. Hi,
Hello.
Akira. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I already did an introduction about you and the topic we're going to talk about, but the stage is yours. Introduce yourself to the community and the topic we're going to talk about.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I am very excited to talk about the money mindset to make your next 100K. My name is Aqura Nicholson, and I am a money coach for business owners to help them pay themselves 5 to 10K consistently while managing their 3 months of business expenses, so that when you're able to do that, your mindset is so clear and you're so safe to where you're like, okay, yeah, I can go make this money because I'm getting paid, my business is growing, and we're good to go. So that's from the lens that I'll be talking about today, to really help ground a lot of business owners in terms of, yes, we got the strategy, we got the Instagram stuff, we got the, TikTok strategies, the email strategies behind making 100K. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And I'd love to hear from you. Like, what are some things that you're hearing in terms of like making the next 100K, so I can make sure to speak to the specific things that you've been hearing from your clients as well?
Oh, it's definitely, I need more strategies.
Ah,
And
okay.
not calming yourself down that you have enough strategy, that the strategy is already working. So, what I'm always seeing is that if something is not getting you there, then I am not doing enough.
That's actually really good. And this comes up with my clients as well. And it just leads to burnout, right? We try to do so many things, and it's just like, I cannot possibly do anymore. One, I don't have the capacity. Two, like, I don't even have time to learn what wasn't working with the previous strategy in order to change anything because I'm always trying something new. And then you work yourself to the point where you're like, I can't do anything right. Like, there's so many things out there. I can't do anything right. Why can't I make more money? And one of the things that I like to talk about is, one, do you feel safe financially? That is the
Mm.
biggest mindset behind making your next 100K, is, do you even feel safe now? Because if not, it's going to be out of survival, and you won't even feel the money that you're making, and so there will never be an end to it if you don't feel safe now. So that is the biggest mindset behind making your next 100K, is feeling safe.
Mhm.
Feeling safe financially, not feeling like it's all going to be gone tomorrow, not feeling like you'll make money and then you still won't feel any different, right? That's a
Mhm.
lot of what I hear in terms of feeling safe financially.
Oh, I love that, especially the safety part, because I feel like, especially women of color, like my audience is like mostly women of color, and even when they start like working with me, they don't feel safe. So, what would you say? What is one thing you can actually give them as an advice when they are on the journey making more money and, the next six figures, in order to start feeling safe with their money?
So, what I always like to do is ask my clients, what are you scared of?
Mhm.
And just start there. Because so many times, a lot of times we're running, but we don't actually know what it is that we're scared of, or we haven't acknowledged it yet. Because until you acknowledge it, you won't know how to not take that scarcity to the next income level. So one of my clients, she was making probably almost 500K, right? And she was like, I feel like it could all be gone tomorrow. Like, what? I don't feel anything. So she was always working, constantly on Instagram, constantly putting things together, constantly trying to figure out what the next email was going to say, or like tedious little things, always running. And I'm like, what is it that you're actually scared of, right? And all these things came up to where she was like, I owe all these people, paid for my business didn't do well. I took all this money out of my retirement. Like I went down to nothing, and now I have to recover from it. So I'm scared I'm gonna have to do the same thing again. And so when we finally slowed down so she could just acknowledge what she was scared of happening again, we could actually unpack some of the things and show her how she had built her business to this point to where she was not going to let that happen again. And even if she felt herself getting close, she saw that she now had the foundation, right? The support, a coach, whether it was me, her money coach, or a business coach, or, a different type, maybe a life coach that she had all the support in place to not get back there again, and to see how many levers would need to fail in order for that to happen again. And sometimes you really just have to show yourself, this is what I will do if I see this thing happening, so that I don't end up back in that same situation. Otherwise, your body is going to keep fighting it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great work what you're doing.
Yeah.
How did your journey start? Like where you wanted to become a money coach and help entrepreneurs, because I know we can work so much and still not see monthly income. So how
Yeah.
did you start with that? I think I'm
Yeah.
so
So
interested in your story. Sorry.
yeah, my journey started at my 9 to 5. So my background is in engineering. I'm an engineer, and I started making these budgets because I was like, okay, I'm making good money, but I don't feel it. Like, what is actually happening? I got here. I'm at this, high income level, and why doesn't it feel like it? And what I realized is I was just shooting for the income. I was just shooting for the paycheck, not knowing, okay, it's what comes after the paycheck is what makes you feel good, not just getting the paycheck. It looks great. It looks great on paper. It's shiny, but like, it's what you actually do with it that makes you feel good and make you feel like you have accomplished something. So I'm like, okay, girl, let's figure this thing out. And so I'm just journaling and writing all this stuff down. And I'm like, let me just create a planner for myself. And so I created this planner that had my goals in it, what I wanted to do with my money, things I wanted to learn about investing, just kind of like my dream financial planner. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this thing up on Etsy because I wonder if anyone else would like this. I did not think anyone would actually buy the thing. I just put it out there because I was curious. Well, it took off, and I built a Etsy shop, a 5-figure Etsy shop, and it just blew up. So this was around 2020, 2021. 2021 is when it really, really blew up. And then I was noticing my friends and like everyone at work, like people were just asking me about all this stuff. And it was genuinely because I was just a lot more confident about talking about money openly. And they were like, well, can you teach me? Like, can you help me? Can we go to a coffee shop and like plan out a budget together? I'm like, sure. And then when I saw that people really had no idea where to start, I was like, oh, this is a need, right? And so then I learned about the coaching industry, and I'm like, wait, I can do this thing? And so that's when I started to build my coaching business. From there, I left my 9 to 5 job, and here's where the biggest shift came from me in terms of getting a paycheck and then being responsible for your paycheck, because those are two different things. And I went my whole year living off of the savings that I needed, that I built up from my 9 to 5. And that second year, I'm like, girl, it's time to pay yourself. Like this, you're either going to go back to work or you're going to figure out how to start paying yourself, because you're using your savings. Like something's got to give. And that's when I was like, oh, I have to feel safe, not just receiving money, but being responsible for my own paycheck. Like that was a huge shift for me that I never understood going into entrepreneurship. And I don't think a lot of people understand because we have these businesses that we love, we're so passionate about. And then we're like, oh, and I also have to like manage this money and be responsible for my own paycheck consistently in the same way that I was just getting it from a 9 to 5 job. And that is where the pressure comes in right there, because it's like you're responsible for the sales, you're responsible for your paycheck, you're responsible for, it's so much responsibility and you don't want any of it to drop. And so that's where you see a lot of entrepreneurs like paying their team first, paying themselves last, waiting on their paycheck, pushing their paycheck back another month. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. That is literally taking you back into survival mode, because now you're putting your financial needs on the back burner, but they're still coming up every month. So what are we doing in the meantime? And so that's really how I started thinking about, okay, what do we need to do to have financial stability and safety as business owners who are responsible for our own paycheck? So that's the whole story.
I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I know so many entrepreneurs, they are not paying themselves. Like, they're making so much money, but at the end of the day, they feel like they are not making enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I think it sounds like they are not paying themselves, right? They are not taking care of their need.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things is you hear all these entrepreneurs saying, I made a 20K month and I did this. I'm like, yeah, that's just the revenue coming in. But
Mhm.
then when you get on the back end of it, I'm like, okay, well, how much did you keep of this? Like, how much are you paying yourself? We only hear one part of it, which makes it confusing for people who want to do this full time. They're like, oh yeah, I can leave my 9 to 5 job and I can make just as much money. I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that's the amount that you're going to pay yourself.
Mhm.
There's such a huge gap in understanding revenue and your take home pay.
Yeah.
Because in the 9 to 5 world, in the corporate world, we only know about the take home pay. We're not responsible for the business making, like, we have one little role in the company that we work for, but we're not responsible for their revenue. We're just responsible for our one little part and we get a paycheck regardless. But as a business owner, you're responsible for the whole thing.
I think a lot of um, people, especially when they come from corporate, they
Mm-hmm.
think like, oh my God, my business is my baby. It's the whole money. What I'm doing is everything for me. Actually, from the beginning, they need to understand that how you said it, like only a part of the money is actually your take home pay, right? That is what you are
Exactly.
taking home. The rest should be, I don't know how you call it, maybe business savings or things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think when someone grows and the company grows, and then they start to have team members, when from the beginning, when they didn't take this take home pay, then the team comes first, the systems comes first, and then they are at the end, right?
Yeah, you basically train yourself to come last.
Mm,
And then you assume that everything's going to change when you hit this revenue goal, but you're just doing the same thing and taking it to the next level, taking it to the next level. But if you start from the beginning, and even if you haven't started from the beginning, just starting now with something like, what can you actually afford to pay yourself consistently, starting right now? And then what does it look like to give yourself a raise to where you can actually be financially stable with the income that you are paying yourself from your business? So that has been so big. And without it, that's how you stay in like that survival mode, because you're taking out money here and there, like paying a bill from your business account. Everything's all intermingled and you're like, all right, let me get this client so I can pay my rent. Or it's just, it is chaos. It is actual chaos. And it's overwhelming on top of running a business to where you are just not safe at all and always feeling like you're fighting just to either pay for your business, pay for your team, or pay for yourself, right? You're always having to choose.
What would you say by working with your clients and also like entrepreneurs? What's the number one mistake they are doing when it comes to managing their money?
The number one thing that I see business owners doing is that they don't actually pay attention to what's going out. This doesn't mean that you have to sit in your numbers all day, every day. What I see happening is they're like, oh, I want to make this investment. So they'll make the money to make the investment, or make sure they have the money that day or that month to make the investment, but they're not thinking about the next 2 months, the next 3 months, right? And so you only know what's coming out today, not what's coming out next month. What do you actually need to break even? What should your revenue actually be in order to sustain where your business is right now, so that when you go make more money, that's all you have to worry about. You don't have to make more money thinking about, oh, I need this to make this investment, and having that pressure. You are so settled because you know what your revenue needs to be in order to actually sustain you and your business. And from there, you will start selling with more safety. You will show up more confidently because you are safe. You're not riding on this next client in order to, pay a bill. And so the biggest thing I see is that they only know what's going on today or tomorrow, and not for the next 2 to 3 months, right? And you don't have to be an expert in order to do this, but it does come down to, do you actually know what your business costs?
Mm-hmm. But what would you say to someone who's having a sales drought where for months, like they are not making any sales? How would you help someone who's coming with that to you for coaching?
Yeah, and this has happened before. So what needs to happen? I actually just talked about this yesterday. We need to do a cash flow reset, because what happens when you're in these sales droughts is that one, and I know it's hard to hear this when you're in that moment, but one, you are working client to client. And that's what's actually not sustainable. And that is what puts you in a sales drought for even longer. We need to think about, with the costs that you have right now, where can you get some of that money back? Well, like, where is money that you don't even need to be spending right now, that you didn't forgot about, that is going to actually help cover you for another 30 days, for example. Mm-hmm. So the first thing we need to do is find where your money is now, because just because money isn't coming in doesn't necessarily mean that money isn't also going out. So we need to know both ends of it. But when you're in a sales drought, you're so focused on getting the next sale and the fact that no money's coming in, all this money is still leaking out. So I'm like, we have to come from both angles. And that's not to like put anyone into like fear or anything. It's just saying we need to know the full picture. Because when you do know the full picture, when you're going to get your next sale, you're getting your next sale from the lens of, okay, this next sale or this next month is going to be able to sustain my business for the next 2 months, instead of for the next investment I want to make. And so you're always like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, instead of like the safety that I actually need for the next 30 days, the next 60 days. And when you think about it from that lens and make money from that lens, you end your sales drought, because the next sales you make are actually giving you safety, not just another dopamine hit.
This was so good. You should actually take money out of it from this live stream. Like, this was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like so many entrepreneurs, they only think like, how can I make more sales, make more money, make more money, make more money, but they are not really looking, okay, I'm making those money. How can I actually manage it, or how can I use it for me and enjoy my life even more, right?
Yeah, and it's like the team that you want to invest in, but you're scared that you won't even have the money to like keep them for another 6 months, a year. That's in the work that we do. The pay that you want to get consistently, that's in the work that we do, right? The time that you want to take off on the holiday next week in December, that can happen without you being at the laptop right before Thanksgiving dinner, because you got to get another sale, because you can't totally be offline, right? Like, I'm taking off 2 weeks, next week and the next week, but I'm still getting paid. Yeah. I'm taking off another 2 weeks in December, but I'm still getting paid. And I'm working on my sales goals for January, right? And this is not because I'm like a diamond in the rough, right? I'm just thinking about, what is my break even? What is my safety number? And how can I make money from that lens, instead of the next client, the next client, the next client, the next client? Because it just, again, puts you back in that survival mode.
Mm. When you figured all these things out, what kind of feeling did you get from you and from your it's a good question, like from you and from your business. How did you do business before and how are you doing business now?
This is good. Before I was, so one, I was using my savings that I have from my 9 to 5. And I was using that to fund my personal household responsibilities. And because of that, I wasn't investing strategically in my business to generate an ROI quickly. An ROI that could have went to a paycheck for me sooner. I think a lot of times when we are just focused on growing our business, we're like, oh yeah, I need this thing, not thinking, okay, how long is that ROI gonna take and what's gonna happen? Like, what is that time in between gonna look like, right? Because that's your pay. That's the pay that you need in order to implement the investment because you need the team, like all these things, what's happening in the in between. And so I was so focused on investing in things to grow my business that I wasn't, again, focused on where is the money actually going now so I can start paying myself before my savings ran out, before getting to that point, right? But now I'm like, oh, if I'm not launching, if I don't have, so for example, I'll be launching soon. One of the things I do before a launch is I say, if I make no money from this launch, will I be okay until the month after the launch is over? So my next launch is not until January. I'm saying it for the first time live today. And one of the first things I do not do anything. I don't update my sales page. I don't write no email. I don't do anything until I know I have the cash I need till February. Because when I'm going into this launch, I don't want to have to make this launch work in order to have cash. If it flops, it's fine. I can go in, I can have fun. I can still show up and sell. I don't have to resent my clients. I don't have to resent the time I just spent on this launch because I know I'm going to be safe with or without it. Right. And so that's how I am intentionally thinking about my financial safety now as I make more money. Right. And when I did that this last launch, that was my first time, I actually doubled my goal. Cause I was just having fun. I'm like, hey y'all, like it's so fun. Like, what do y'all need? What questions? Like, you show up from such a different energy because you don't need it. That pressure, you don't put it on yourself.
This is so good. So
Yeah.
many hate launches
Yeah.
because it's burning out. It is not fun anymore because of the money, because the
Yeah.
launch needs to actually get the sales. Otherwise, they don't know how to pay the bills, right?
Yeah. And it's not even like, this is actually funny. This is going to be a little spicy, but it's like, is it not fun or is it just not giving you the money you need? Because those are two different things.
Mm.
Right? If you
So
don't have the
good.
money you need, you're not going to have fun because you're stressed out.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to have fun? So it's like, it's not even about the fun. It's like, are you financially safe with or without it?
Mm.
Yeah.
So good. So many coaches need to hear that.
Yes.
It was so nice. Like,
Thank you.
is there any other, like advice you would like to give to our community today? Like when it comes to money mindset, when it comes to saving and the cash flow.
Yeah. The biggest thing is that more money is not going to get you what you want long term. It feels good in the moment and it's just as quick to go away if there's no underlying safety there. And so rewiring how you think about earning money, how you think about spending money to support your financial safety so that you can show up from a place of overflow is so important because again, we have so much responsibility. We're responsible for our business, for our
Mm-hmm.
team, for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, for our family. not just for our family, at a 9 to 5 job. It's like, yeah, I'm just responsible for. No, you got all these other layers. And so if there's no safety grounding that, any given day, you will spiral over one thing or another. Like whatever the thing is for that day, it's so easy to spiral, question whether you should be doing this, question if you're a good business owner, question all these things just because there's no safety as a foundation. So I think that's what I'll leave everyone with.
Thank you, Akira. It's also like a lot of people need to realize that even managing money or having this money mindset, it's a skill. And
Yes.
as every skill, we need coach from someone like you, get the feedback, get someone behind our ear and tell like, don't do this or do it like this.
Mhm.
And using that feedback to get better at the skill of managing money. And a lot of people, they think, oh, I wasn't born with money, so I would never good, like never will be good at it. It's more
Right.
like getting in the energy. Okay, it's just a skill. And how I learned, I don't know, a language in my school, I can learn the skill of managing money.
Yeah. And what is so great about it is that you don't have to do it in public. That's the benefit and the I love one-on-one coaching for that reason because a lot of us business owners, we're very successful. We have this image, but it's like we don't want to have everything in public. And so being able to have the safe space to manage it and get support with it privately is really important for a lot of us who are scaling our businesses, especially doing it in public.
I love that. Would you like to tell us an offer? I know
Sure.
you mentioned in January you are launching. Would you like
Yeah.
to tell us more about what you are launching and
Sure.
how we can actually find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on I always share my podcast, Women Talk Money. It's a podcast on Apple and Spotify. I will be launching a group program in January specifically for personal finances, but for the business owners who really want to pay themselves consistently 5 to 10K each month while keeping 3 months of savings in the bank for your business. My one-on-one money coaching offer is for you where we jump in, manage your business finances so you can pay yourself consistently and grow your business from financial safety and not financial scarcity or survival. So we're really able to dive in and help you build that stability and safety from your business so you can pay yourself consistently.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Everyone, go follow the money queen here, Akira. Thank you so much for coming to the episode, and I
Thank
hope
you.
to see you soon.
Thank you so much. It was so good chatting with you. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.